Hi, this is the Pest Control Methods presentation by Emma, Brooke, and Mila. Today we're going to be talking about the types of pesticides, genetic resistance to a pesticide, advantages and disadvantages of modern pesticides, risks modern pesticides cause on humans and wildlife, and the malaria case study. When looking at types of pesticides, there are four big types of pesticides: insecticides, herbicides, fungicides, and rodenticides. Insecticides are pesticides designed to kill, injure, repel, or control one or more insect species. There are many different methods of action used by insecticides. For example, insecticides can cause nervous system disruption or even harm their ecoskeletons. Insecticides can be packed in a variety of ways, such as sprays, dusts, gels, and baits. This means that the level of risk for each insecticide may vary. Herbicides are substances that are used to control or modify harmful vegetation. The most frequent use of herbicides is in row crop farming, when they are sprayed on either before or during planting in order to reduce other vegetation and increase crop productivity. They may also be used on the crops in the fall to facilitate harvesting. Fungicides work to kill or stop the development of fungi and their spores. They are effective against rusts, mildews, and other plant-damaging fungi. They also can be applied to manage mold and mildew. The majority of fungicides harm fungal cell membranes or prevent the fungi from producing enough energy to survive. Rodenticides kill rodents. Along with rats and mice, rodents also include squirrels, woodchucks, chipmunks, porcupines, etc. Even though rats are crucial to the environment, there are many occasions when they need to be controlled. They may harm crops, break housing regulations, spread disease, and occasionally harm the environment.
I will be explaining the process of genetic resistance. Genetic resistance is a complex process. It begins with mutations in the copying process of DNA cells. Mutations are structural changes in DNA that occur randomly. These mutations are sometimes helpful, which improves the individual's survival rate. Then, because that organism survives, those mutations are more likely to be passed on to future generations. Throughout the generations, the mutation becomes more and more common. Knowing this, we are able to conclude that this is how genetic resistance to pesticides develop. For example, if we test a pesticide on a group of organisms and some individuals have a resistance to it, those individuals will survive. Then, they will pass on that resistant gene to their offspring. Over time, as resistance is passed through the generations, it becomes more common amongst the population. So, what are the advantages of modern pesticides? Well, there are many advantages, such as saving human lives. Pests can transmit diseases that can sometimes be deadly to humans. Secondly, they increase food supply. What I mean by this is that food is saved from pests, which would otherwise destroy those crops. It also increases profit for the farmers. It's much cheaper to spray pesticides than to lose a batch of crops. Next, it works fast. Pesticides get rid of pests quickly. It also reduces health risks because pesticides sprayed don't negatively affect humans. Overall, the new methods are safer, more effective, and are less damaging to the environment. One major disadvantage is the pesticide treadmill. This is the concept that the more pesticides used, the more likely pests form a resistance to them. When this happens, more pesticides need to be used to maintain their effectiveness.
What are some of the risks modern pesticides pose to wildlife and human health? These chemicals are created for the purpose of killing insects. The pesticides containing these chemicals can still pose a threat to the larger scale, like humans and animals. Workers that distribute the pesticides can come in contact with these chemicals and are reported to have side effects such as blisters, dizziness, rashes, and burning eyes. More serious effects consist of blindness and even death. Pesticides create a bigger threat to wild animals, as they are the ones that come into most contact with the chemicals without even knowing it. They can accidentally ingest these pesticides and the outcome on the animal is usually reproductive defects, cancer, but more than all, death. Different case studies give us different examples of pesticides being either helpful or harmful. In the helpful case, pesticides help us humans for success in agriculture. We use pesticides for many reasons. One benefit of pesticides usually overlooked are simple disinfectants like hand sanitizer. For the killing of viruses and bacteria, this type of pesticide does not pose a threat to human health or animal health, as it is for the sole purpose of preventing sickness and the spreading of it. And on the harmful side, a popular debate of pesticides is that of the killing of bees in large numbers. Bees are beneficial to humans as we need pollination to survive. Insecticides are for the killing of harmful insects, but it makes no difference if the chemical comes in contact with bees. Bees are very sensitive insects, and even the smallest amount of chemical will kill. The main pesticide responsible for killing bees is called a neonicotinoid. This is typically used on large-scale farms. The pesticide will either be absorbed into the pollen of the plant, then injected by the bee, or it can be directly ingested by the bee. Taking into account the broad-spectrum pesticides that are created to kill a large amount of different kinds of animals, this is harmful to the helpful species such as bees that end up getting wiped out from these farms where that pesticide is used. In the malaria case study, malaria is a fatal disease from a parasite that uses mosquitoes as a host. Malaria then infects humans as the mosquito already infected feeds on us. As mosquitoes are a type of insect, insecticides can be used in order to help prevent the spread of malaria from insects to humans. This is a good example of when insecticides would be beneficial or even crucial to human lives.